Who do we have online? Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. 26. Oh, okay. March 26th. I would like to get a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have an action item, the approval of design task order for the phase 2 of the almost 33 MGD bid on our Tap Rock water treatment plant. So, Savita, we'll give the floor to your team, you and your team.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's probably going to be a short meeting, but we appreciate it nonetheless. So Jessica and I are here today seeking approval for a design task order for the Tap Rock Water Treatment Facility Phase 2 Expansion Design Task Order number 3. So Jessica is going to give a little background and then I'll do the remainder of the presentation.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, so most of this will be review for everybody, but this is just the project location. So there's the Tap Rock Water Treatment Facility that we are planning on expanding. It's on the western edge of our service area. So just a quick summary of our Loudon water supply. So we have the Tap Rock Water Treatment Plant that can produce about 20 million gallons a day. We also purchase water from Fairfax Water up to 50 million gallons a day. And then in an emergency, we have the capability to withdraw water from the Goose Creek Reservoir and treat it at the Tap Rock facility. And then we can also draw upon the Beaver Creek Dam Reservoir to feed Goose Creek. And finally, last but not least, the Milestone Reservoir will be available to us in the next couple of years. So that will be another source.
Can you remind me how long that would last, the 1.2 billion gallons? And
Depends right on the demand, but roughly about 30 days, given sort of average demand. Okay, so there are a couple of project drivers for the expansion of the Tap Rock facility. The big one is really growth in the area. So if looking at this figure here on the right, if we just pay attention to the two blue lines, the top blue line is the max day demand from 2015 to 2050. And then the purple line underneath it is the average day demand. So you can see from 2025 to 2035, we have a pretty significant increase in demand that we're forecasting. So the expansion of Tap Rock is really to prepare for that. And that's really data center and then growth in JLMA work as well. And then in addition to that, as a utility, we want to make sure we are reliable and resilient to our customers. So if really the main issue is if there's a drought or Fairfax water is unavailable, we want to make sure that we can still supply our customers. So the expansion of Tap Rock from 20 million gallons a day to 32.8 million gallons a day is actually pretty straightforward. We already went through the testing. VDH has already approved the expansion. Really this, and when we were in the design of the 20 million gallons a day, this phase was always part of the plan. The expansion part is not, we're not adding a treatment train, we're just adding more equipment so we can continue to provide and treat the water the same way we are now. Okay, so I'm going to pass it over to Savita to talk about the task order.
So just a short slide that's showing the previous design task orders that we brought forward. So the first one was to essentially bring the design through the PER stage and then help us define the scope for the remainder of the work. We also looked at preliminarily selecting some equipment and we confirmed some of our design exemptions with VDH, right? So we were set to kind of move forward. Design task order 2, which is currently underway, is really essentially to do the full design through the bid documents. We have just like some status bullets for you. We have actually selected or pre-selected the UV vendor. The 30% design documents are complete, and we anticipate the 60% design documents to be delivered in May. And then, of course, we'll then finish the project out through that design task order. Do you have a question?
I just had a broader question. It's, I saw in the previous slides, talk about the, anticipation on population growth. Just curious, how does Loudon Water, I'm assuming it's getting data from the county. I'm just curious, how does that work? How do you determine population growth and how does it translate into Loudon Water decisions? Because since I've been here, I don't think I have a clear understanding how that happens.
Sure. I can.
It's a bigger, we can talk it offline.
Yeah.
It's a bigger question.
No, it's a great question. So we work with the county. They forecast population and employment, and it's bigger than just the county level. So at the regional level, COG produces projections on some frequency,
Okay.
and that really comes through the county. And then it's filtered through our master planning process where we, obviously have to make some slightly different assumptions to
Yes.
how their projection zones overlay with our system
Okay.
areas.
All right. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you use the Census Bureau data.
Mhm. Yeah, so it's a amalgamation of multiple sources and decision making. Okay.
Is it an oversimplification to say that we just look at ERC estimates we have going? That's just, no,
No, we're more detailed than that.
just.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you.
You're
The,
welcome.
The lines were so nice and smooth and straight, but we also know that on both on the potable and the reclaim, that it's spiking. The
Mhm.
usage
Right.
is very spiky.
Yes.
And we're underway with our master plan update right now, but we've made it through most of the demand forecasting and projections and all the granular data. And we've taken a lot of looks at different demographic factors, housing type, and just lots of different ways to slice and dice the information to help with the forecasting
Okay.
forward. So like to help understand what outdoor water use might look like versus where
Mhm.
concentrations of data centers are likely to develop based on county maps that have been produced recently and sort of pipeline development, data centers in the pipeline for development, that is. So
So it is
Yeah,
a
pretty-
quite intensive process, it sounds.
pretty robust process, yeah.
So this 32.8, that's it for us without having to do something to the footprint of the plant in order to get larger?
Yeah, so this is primarily, we're completely replacing the UV. We're going to expand the ozone. The biggest pieces, right? We're putting in another finished water pump. There's some chemical facilities we need to build. But the next expansion will be like tankage,
Adding more population tanks, the whole
right? Yeah.
assembly line sort of thing.
So a lot of this is accomplished through re-rating some of the existing unit processes, and which was anticipated in the original design. We knew we would sort of do this interim upgrade.
Probably a quick side story worth mentioning. I think some of the original anticipated improvements required to reach this 32.8 did look at some additional equipment. I think plate settlers would have to be installed in the sedimentation basins, and through the great work that was done to look at the research required to re-rate our existing filters, it was determined we don't have to install plate settlers. So that's been a savings to us.
So this doesn't require any concrete.
Very-
Not any meaningful concrete. There's some
Not
things
like
that we're
concrete.
doing,
Exactly.
yeah, but not big tankage.
Right.
Yeah.
And we won't need to do, we built 2 of the storage tanks on site, so we don't need to do another storage tank to get to the 32.
Right.
Or a new generator.
The generator project is reaching the completion, so.
Okay, I'm done with.
Okay, so task order 3 is simply sort of the remainder of the work that's not encapsulated in design task order 2. So it's really the permit coordination and acquisition and the bid phase support. And we did this intentionally. We wanted to make sure that we were going to capture all the correct permits. So we have to permit through VDH. We have an FAA permit we have to acquire, and then of course, county permits, our typical spam, building permit and trade permits. And then of course, we also have bid support. So once this project goes out to bid, CDM will provide bid support. They'll come to the pre-bid meeting, the site visits, prepare addenda for us, and then prepare the conform documents. And then, we selected CDM because they are the engineer of record for this project.
You can see that.
So here is a breakdown of the fee. It's pretty straightforward. I did want to highlight, I did note here on the slide, the total design fee for all three of the task orders is just under $3 million. Our current construction cost estimate is about 37. So all in all, it's about 8% of the construction cost, which is reasonable.
So that permitting, is that all Loudoun County?
There is some FAA and BDH permitting as well.
CFAA.
I think there's a crane,
Oh.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's some
right,
cranes.
Yeah, because there's aircraft in here.
Yeah. So here's our project schedule. We're, underway with design task order 2. We hope to finish Q2 of 2027 and then go out to bid and start construction towards the end of 2027. Right now, we're anticipating 24 months of construction. And then this is a part of our 10-year CIP. So we have $2.5 million budgeted for the design phase, and then $37 million for construction. Of course, we'll review that again this year through the CIP process. I think this is the last slide, so I have a motion.
Questions?
No?
No. Would you do the honors?
I move the recommendation to the board to award a design task order for the Trap Walk Water Treatment Facility Phase 2 Expansion Design Task 3 to CDM Smith for $224,882 with an approximate 5% contingency to be controlled by the general manager for a total authorized budget of $236,500. Additional costs will require board approval. Should be considered.
Consent, yeah. And place it on consent. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
That's all you guys do on CIP?
That's it.
Generally, there's like 5 of these.
Don't get us started.
And then,
Maybe he shows up.
I'm here every meeting. I'm
And then-
just hiding in the sky, so.
and Keith, and Jack always ask lots of questions and I'm very quiet. So then we go to the informational items.
Yeah, we just have the capital spending report for February. Any particular questions on this?
I just had a question about on the previous project. What is the total expansion estimate on the cost? I'm trying to remember.
On the Trap Rock project for the design,
7 million.
37 million is the construction. Yeah.
That's without having to build a tank. Imagine what it's going to cost to build a small tank.
Yeah, we are replacing some pretty heavy duty equipment, right? We're adding another ozone train and we're replacing the UV system. So those are,
It's good. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's important that we all know that we use ozone and UV.
Mhm.
And then we're close to our permit withdrawal, right? When we get to the 37. Or
32, the permit withdrawal is 40, right?
40,
So, and we'll be at 32. So the next expansion would be to 40.
we'd have to go, would we go back to try to get permit increase or not really?
Not at this time.
Instead of, it's 40 from the Potomac.
Mhm.
Can we also draw from the Goose Reservoir? Not the Goose, but the
Milestone,
not Milestone,
Beaver
Creek.
Dam.
Beaver Dam
the
or Goose Creek?
Goose Creek Reservoir.
Only in an.
It's only emergency.
I believe that's capped at 30, right? I think that one is a little bit, is
Yes,
like
it's
30.
less. It's.
So I saw some peak was 87 million MGD, and if we can only produce 20 at Trap and we only get 50 from Fairfax, that's only 70. How are we? Or that's estimate coming up, that's not now.
Yeah.
Correct, that's in the future,
And that's
right?
what
And so at that
it's
point, we
32,
would be expanded to 40 at Trap.
And
I
I think
think to
you guys missed that.
I think to the point of the line of questioning, we're wrapping up our master plan right now out to 2050 and seeing sort of build out projections slightly lower than 90 MGD, or what would be our max with Fairfax and Trap Rock expanded to 40. And so that's something we're going to continue to watch as we do master planning
Can you put that
updates.
slide back up, that
Mhm.
first one with the?
And also, I do have a quick question on this slide. I see the first item, admin facilities, 149 over projection. You may have already gone over why is there a deviation like that? It says 149
Yeah,
actual versus.
it's over. I'll need to look into that one more, but
These are just monthly projections.
Yeah.
We're just assuming when money is gonna be spent, whether it lands in January or February. So if you watch next month, a bill just came in sooner.
yeah, if something was just paid sooner than I thought it was gonna be.
Expenses.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're-
This is a spending report.
Yeah. Okay.
correct. So we're actually under projection for this month, but I mean, if you look, some months, some line items are over and some are
Yeah.
under, right?
just
And
struck
really,
me
we're
as
looking at the bottom line,
Yeah, it
overall.
just struck me as 149.
Yeah, so they probably just paid something sooner than
Okay.
they thought they were gonna pay for it. Did you want the projection slide?
Yeah, just.
Yes, there it is.
So in 2035, we can't meet that 85, even with expansion of trap.
So you have 40.
Well,
Well,
we wouldn't have 40, we'd have 32 plus 50 would be 82. That's 84. So we're close, but
82.9.
we're really,
I would just say what Elton was referencing, the projections coming out of the master plan right now just look a little different than these projections. So I think we just need to regroup on the numbers and come back, but we are confident that we can meet the current projections for 2035.
But it is indicated that we're going to need to move to 40. sooner
Correct.
Rather than later.
Right now, that's the way that it looks.
Yeah.
But the master plan is gonna really help us determine that.
You kind of caught me flat-footed there, but I think that is the intent, right? As the follow-on to this expansion to 32.8, I think when we brought forward the previous design task, and at last year at the retreat, we spoke of right on the heels of that, we'll move into the design of the expansion to 40 with the intent of moving to construction and having that online, around this 2035 timeframe.
Yeah. And what's the maximum capacity of Corvallis?
3,
I don't know that
It's
one.
really-
yeah, it's really up there. Yeah, 150.
150, yeah.
I
That's,
feel better now.
you feel better now? Any other questions on this? That's a nice chart, and I'm looking forward to the projection plan charts when they come out.
Mhm.
If you refine them, that sounds good. So the next thing on the item is for our next meeting in April. The reclaimed water line relocation is one of the things on there on the Parkway.
Yes.
Is that, will we be ready to talk about that next one?
I think so. We have to relocate a portion of the reclaimed water line that's on our property due to the Dominion line that's coming
So
through.
what's on our property?
It's on our property, yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right. Is there any other ones you need to put on the agenda for next meeting?
Not right now, but that could change.
Right. I think we're good. I did have one last question that just came to my mind about the Trap Rock. So CDM Smith is the engineer of record.
Mhm.
What do we have we decided what type of contracting we're going to use for vehicles we might use for that, a straight contract or
Yeah, this is through our BOA.
through the BOA? Okay,
Yes.
that's. All right, I think that's it, unless there's anything else, any other business for CIP. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
18 and a half minutes, but we started 2 minutes early.
Yeah.
Yeah.